Look, Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White clearly like and respect one another, right? But that doesn't mean they always see eye to eye. And I am beginning to suspect more and more that there's a bit of a divide between the way that they see the game and the way that they think the Indiana Fever should play. You can just hear what they have to say and connect the dots a little bit. Not to mention, it didn't go well against the Golden State Valkyries. That was obvious to everybody, of course. Just a rough performance from the Fever.
Caitlin Clark, America's basketball sweetheart, the face of the WNBA, the icon of hope, just broke her silence. And what she revealed shook fans to their core. She didn't talk about another triple-double. She didn't brag about fan votes or highlight reels. No, this time she opened her heart. Caitlin Clark admitted the truth. This season has broken her down, mentally and physically. And now, the real question is, will the league support her recovery or keep draining its brightest star for ratings and revenue?
In her post-game interview, confirms the team looks the best when the ball is in Caitlin's hands, when she is the main decision maker, and everything revolves around her. Yet for some strange reason in the Valkyries game yesterday, after witnessing that in real time, Stephanie White decides to change things up, slow the things down, take Caitlin out the game.
Let's break down the 5 brutal truths Caitlin Clark just exposed, and why this may be the biggest turning point of her young career. Let's start with the facts. This has been the most physically punishing season of Caitlin Clark's life. 2 major injuries in just 2 months. First, a left quad injury that took her out of the lineup for 5 straight games. Then, just as she was finding her groove, a left groin injury knocked her out again. Total missed games? 10 out of 18. That's over half the season gone. Not because of lack of effort, not because of poor performance, but because her body has been pushed to the limit. Clark plays over 30 minutes per game, gets guarded full court, double-teamed, roughed up, and still gets up the next day and grinds. This isn't just a workload, it's a silent war against burnout. And it's shocking that the league hasn't adjusted more quickly to protect its biggest star from physical collapse. For the first time, Caitlin Clark stripped away the filters and told the truth. She's mentally exhausted. In a gut-wrenching statement after a brutal loss to the Golden State Valkyries, Clark didn't talk tactics or stats. She said, "It's honestly been hard. I'm not going to lie to you." Let that sink in. The most composed, confident player in the WNBA just told the world she's been fighting a mental battle every single day. She admitted it's painful to show up to practices, prepare for games, and then be told she won't play. She said it's hard to stop, start, all while trying to stay mentally locked in. And when she's benched, that's even worse. It's almost harder to sit on the bench and come into the game, she confessed. That mental whiplash? It's something most athletes won't even admit out loud. Let's stop pretending Caitlin Clark is just another player in the league. She's not. She is the league's cash cow, headline magnet, and fan favorite all rolled into one. And it's clear the pressure is eating her alive.
Steph, they were coming in here talking about lack of focus, lack of knowing the game plan. How do you summarize kind of what you saw out there?
I was disappointed because I felt like there was a lack of competitive fire. With the exception of about 2 5-minute spurts, our attention to detail was poor. I'm not sure if it's not knowing the game plan as much as, because if it's not knowing the game plan, then that's a whole other conversation, as much as not executing the game plan. Our attention to detail.
2 5-minute spurts. I don't care about the rest of what she has to say. It's gonna sound good, I'm sure. It's gonna be her refusing to take accountability, I'm sure. It's going to be her putting the onus on the players, I'm sure. Not owning up to her, I'm sure.
Every single time she steps on the court, she's not just playing a game. She's performing for millions, for media, for sponsors, for the league's bottom line. And it's becoming clear, the wait is getting unbearable. Do fans see the reality behind the curtain? Clark is under 24/7 surveillance. From the minute she wakes up, everything she does, how she warms up, how she speaks in interviews, how she walks off the court, is scrutinized. One bad shooting night, it's breaking news. One quiet game, Twitter erupts. This is a 23-year-old woman who hasn't had a full, healthy stretch since the season began. And still, she's held to a superhuman standard. And the WNBA, instead of protecting her, they're exploiting her, slapping her name on every promo, every billboard, every ticket sale, even when she's injured and clearly suffering. Let's be honest. If a male rookie was going through this much mental and physical pain, there would be conversations about rest, rehab, mental health breaks. With Caitlin, there's just pressure. No support system. No easing up. And Clark? She's been too tough to say no. Until now, her quotes are raw, her eyes say it all, and if the league doesn't wake up fast, they're going to run their biggest star straight into the ground. Here's the twist the media won't tell you. Caitlin Clark's all-star captaincy isn't a moment of celebration. It's a trap. Think about it. She's been injured, mentally drained, physically limping. And what does the league do? Instead of letting her breathe, they put her front and center in the biggest marketing spectacle of the season. She'll walk into Gainbridge Fieldhouse not just as a player, but as the face of the entire damn event. That's not a reward. That's a burden. It's no secret the league is banking on this all-star game to pull record numbers. Ticket sales, TV ratings, sponsorships, it all hinges on Caitlin being the center of attention. And she knows it. She said herself, "It's hard to prepare for games knowing you're not going to play." And now she has to perform at an elite level on national TV while still rehabbing? And don't forget the politics. She's expected to draft the perfect team, play a perfect game, smile through the interviews, and act like everything's fine. Meanwhile, her legs are still recovering, her shot's been off, and her confidence is being chipped away with every high-pressure game she's pushed into too soon.
This team still has no offensive identity. The one thing that this team did really good was the two-man game. You've heard me talk about it. The two-man game with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, usually in the first half of games. But they get a two-man game going. Caitlin gets 4 or 5 assists off of it. Aaliyah Boston gets warmed up with a lot of work inside the paint. Nah, let's not even bother doing that anymore.
This all-star game, it's not about Caitlin's comeback. It's about the league's paycheck. And that's the ugly truth nobody's brave enough to say out loud. Let's not sugarcoat it anymore. Caitlin Clark's injuries, her mental exhaustion, her brutally honest confessions, they are not isolated incidents. They are a flashing red warning light, a mirror being held up to the WNBA. And right now, the league is refusing to look into it. This is no longer about sore muscles or missed games. This is about a system that demands everything and gives nothing back. Caitlin Clark is being wrung out like a sponge for views, revenue, media hype, and the social clout. But where is the protection? Where's the voice from the top saying, let's pause and prioritize her health? Nowhere. And here's where it gets controversial. The league has created a monster. They handed Clark the torch, labeled her the savior, plastered her face on every screen from ESPN to TikTok, and then stepped back and let her burn. She's not just a rookie anymore, she's the centerpiece of an economic boom. Ticket sales, jersey sales, sponsorships, Caitlin Clark is driving it all. But behind the curtain, she's battling groin tears, quad strains, and a mental roller coaster no one in the front office wants to talk about. Because if they did, they'd have to admit it. They are complicit.
You know somebody moves the needle when people are willing to pay ginormous amount of money. Is that a word? A massive amount of money to see Caitlin Clark play ball. And some of these ticket prices for these games against the Sky and the Wings are pretty unbelievable and pretty eye-opening.
Caitlin said it herself. It's really hard to stop and go. Stop and go, especially when you're not feeling your best. That's not just a sports quote. That's a cry for help from a player who is being pushed past her limits, while the people benefiting from her labor sit back and smile. You think the All-Star captaincy is a reward? It's a bandage on a bullet wound. The league wants her in front of the cameras, even if she's not 100%. They want her smile, her stats, her star power, no matter the physical cost. And if she breaks down mid-game, they'll just call it unfortunate and move on. But let's flip the script. Imagine if this happened to LeBron James in his rookie year, or to Steph Curry when he was building Golden State into a dynasty. Would they have been expected to play through injury, exhaustion, and national pressure with no break, no backup, and no real protection? Absolutely not. They would have had sports psychologists, PR managers, and load management plans tailored around their well-being. Caitlin Clark gets none of that. Instead, she gets elbowed on the court, dragged on social media, and ignored when she says out loud, "It's been hard." The WNBA is failing its biggest star. And if they don't fix it now, if they don't invest in her health, her peace, her growth, they'll look back on 2025 as the year they squandered the greatest gift the league ever received. Because here's the truth, Caitlin Clark doesn't owe the WNBA anything. She gave them relevance, she gave them headlines, she gave them ticket sales. But if they keep taking her for granted, she could walk away, injured, broken, disillusioned, and the league would be left with a hollow shell of what it could have been. So, WNBA, the clock is ticking. This isn't just a player issue, it's a league-wide credibility test. Will you protect the very star who put you back on the map? Or will you keep ignoring her pain until it silences her for good? Because Caitlin Clark's pain isn't just hers anymore, it's your legacy now.
Guys, they have now lost back-to-back home games. And you know what? The Valkyries are a legit team. They are. They hustle. They truly play as an actual team. I'm going to tell you, they're a well-coached team too, by the way. And, you know, we think this game was bad. And look, now you're seeing this. I know one coach who wouldn't let this happen. Look, at least Christy Sides would attempt to everything. If she would have lived and died through Caitlin Clark shooting the ball and distributing the ball, and I mean, this is wild, folks.